right, guys, so a really common question we get is, how am I supposed to give space in certain situations? How am I supposed to control my space in certain situations? To be honest, at the end of the day, you just do the best you can do. If you have a very reactive dog, you put yourself, both of you, in as safe as a situation as possible. Let the oncoming person know. And if your dog explodes, you just ride it out. Usually using leash pressure is the best bet until that person passes by. Then you can move on and address anything happening. But let's say that, it's not reactivity, or you're working on reactivity and you're not seeing it as often, and you just need to maneuver through certain situations that come up. Even if you just have a dog that's a little bit too excited and you're tired of your dog pulling towards other people or dogs, and in tight spaces, this video is going to show you kind of how we work on that, how we maneuver around that. I made it as detailed as I could think of, but if any of you have any questions or things that you think would help this video further, please, feel free to put comments below. Okay, so watch the husky. I'm in the blue, but watch the husky. Watch her move right here. Boom! See her control her space and use the fence. So she is on the inside. So Maxine puts herself on the inside between her dog and my dog to control the space. Now you want to do this before you lose control of your dog. So if you start to feel your dog loading with excitement, normally that would be a little sooner, but watch the step in. Look, she uses the leg next to her dog to redirect their energy and sight and visually to walk by. And now she's looking down at Dexter, that's the husky's name, and being like, let's go, good, let's go, with a really confident tone. Basically watching him and talking him through it if needed. Dexter doesn't really need it, but we do that just out of habit with all the dogs. Most dogs in the beginning, they're going to need you to talk to them and just kind of talk them through it. Like, no, let's go, shift focus and keep moving. Okay, so now you guys can watch this from a different angle, just how she maneuvers around me. She has to get around that mailbox, and then there she goes, just controlling the space. Now let's say you have to block another dog politely, not an aggressive dog where you might have to really stand your ground or kick away, but just, a dog that's just really being unruly and the owner doesn't care. She's going to have to stop moving and block my dog as well as her dog with her other leg. So watch this right here. So see, she's just stepping in front and moving around, just controlling space. This takes practice, guys. It's not something that just happens immediately overnight. She's concerned about keeping her dog back, trying not to use the leash, trying to just use her body and then block my dog. So just gonna watch her fancy footwork right here. She's already about to maneuver to the side to get out of my way, but she sees I have an unruly dog. So she's just going to pause, keep her dog back the best she can, and use her leg to block my dog. Okay, now watch her fancy footwork here. This takes practice. She then uses her other leg to kind of bump into Dexter's face just lightly and guide him on the outside to keep moving. You want to keep moving as much as you can. Try not to have to freeze. Look, she continues to block. And look at my dog and see what they're doing to make sure they don't turn around and bite your dog in the butt before she moves on. It's fancy footwork. I know, I've been doing this for a while, but the more practice you do, the better it'll be. And this is what you should do. You should go all the way to the outside. That is what you should do. Take pressure off. This is what creates so much reactivity, is trying to force dogs to walk by each other. So when you can, take pressure off. And even your one-step bubble out, do it sooner. We were really putting the pressure on just to show you guys what it looks like. But even your one-step bubble out, do it as quick as you can. Let's go. You're kind of in the middle. You don't want to go to that side. Let's go. Good. Trying to keep the leash loose, but just giving little tugs if needed. Keep her concerned about the wall and where my leg is. Make someone else go around you. So they're coming at you about this amount of space. Let's go. Say I don't have much space. Let's go. Kind of keep my arm out. Let's go. It's kind of out and away from me as they pass on by. All right. Let's say you have no choice. Let's go. Just a little change. Let's go. It's a little tug. Let's go. Speed up. Good. Good girl. But now slow down. Super slow once they pass no, so they don't think you're rushing by. So basically my point is, it's just that let's go, that one step that matters. And then only if you're in kind of a tight predicament do you want to speed up, but you don't want to hold tight and pull your dog while you're going by. That's a big no-no. Give them 1 inch of slack if you're nervous at all, just 1 inch. So just to kind of clarify what I was saying is, if you're nervous and you're in a really tight area, 1 inch of slack on the leash. I might even bend over at the waist, like if I'm stuck in an elevator with a dog that I'm unsure about, muzzle or no muzzle, and a dog comes in, I'll bend over at the waist and grab lower on the leash so they really can't go anywhere if the dog I have makes a bad decision, or the other dog. And I'm actually bending over at the waist. I have a hold of the leash with only 1 inch of slack.
Took a photo for reference. This actually looks snug, but it's not. There is no tension on this leash, but I am right there if anything were to happen and I was in a really tight space.
Now, if I'm worried at all, I will even bend over like I showed in that photo while I'm walking. If I'm really worried about my dog or the other dog or both, that way I have a loose leash, because the death of good behavior is a tight leash because it communicates tension. The exception is if your dog is very reactive and they lose their mind. That's really the only exception that I can think of, is where you would need to keep a good hold of the leash, keep tension on the leash, say no, but just keep tension on the leash to kind of ride out that moment. Walk while your dog is reacting if you need to, or stay still and be like, get around me, go away. Then relax your leash, correct the dog, and keep moving. Movement is always your best bet. Even if your dog will sit and watch dogs go by, even if it's just excitement, we see this all the time, is the dogs just load. They're just like, I'm shaking the camera, as the dog walks by, and then they see another dog and another dog. Before long, they just can't even handle it anymore, and they're barking or pulling. Or what we see most common is the dog is taught to sit while dogs walk by, and then they do it until the dog is like right here or a little behind them, and then they take off whenever the human goes, okay, let's go. They take off in the direction of the dog behind them, right? So anyway, guys, movement is always your best bet. Commanding movement, keeping your dog moving. If you're ever in any sticky situation, quickly get past it first. Then, like you saw with Mila, then slow down and work your dog through it. And then if it's a controlled situation, like a dog behind a fence or something like that, that's the most ideal. Or if you're at a skate park and the dog hears the skateboards back and forth, work at a distance, and you can really work on their behavior that way as well. But anyway, guys, I hope you found this video helpful. We did put a lot into it, a lot of thought into it, but like I said before, if you guys think of anything else, feel free to comment below, because it just helps us make better videos.